So you're busy working away with your airbrush and you've been laying down some paint, and now you're going to do a quick paint change and you want to do some detail work, but your air pressure regulator is on the other end of your 2 meter hose. It's miles away and you're going to want to change it back again in a moment. It's a little bit inconvenient. So what do you do? Hello, welcome to Model Kit Stuff. I've got a bit of a product review for you today. But yeah, the answer to the question, what do you do? Well, the answer is to get your regulator the other end of your airline. The product we're reviewing today is this. It's an FPC or fine pressure control. So when you buy your airbrush, generally speaking, what you get is this. You get a basic airbrush with a coupling that allows you to attach it to your air hose directly onto your compressor. Most compressors, when you buy them, they come with a coupling so that you can put your air hose onto the compressor directly. So at the most basic level, you've got an airline between your compressor and your airbrush. What many of us now do is we then fit one of these onto the airbrush, which allows us to add a quick connect coupling. So what you can do is then put your air hose on and off quickly, which really helps. You don't have to unscrew it when you're doing any cleanup. And I would suggest that many of us have a setup like this at this end of our airbrush. And then at the compressor end, many of us will put in a regulator with a liquid trap so that we can make sure that the air that's coming through our air hose is both clean and dry. There are solutions where you can put an air trap at this end. I'm thinking about the Silver Bullet, for example, where you can drain the liquid out of your coupling at this end. That has the advantage of you getting less buildup of moisture in your air tank, but most people don't do it that way. But that still leaves most of us with the issue that we're regulating air at the compressor end of the airline rather than the airbrush end. And the reality is, it's much more convenient to have all of our controls to hand at the airbrush end. And that's where today's little product comes in. So we're looking at this, which is the fine pressure control. And basically, what it does is it replaces this little part of your airbrush, this bit here, with this control, so you end up with something like that. And as you can see, I've been able to attach my air line coupling on, my quick connect. So when it's on, it's very, very unobtrusive. It's not getting in the way at all. You don't really notice it's there. How it works is you've got a ring that is adjustable, and that allows you to change your air pressure. Now obviously you've not got any dial or anything, so it's a little bit suck it and see, but it will allow you to change your air pressure between 20 and 100%. That's its full range of movement, and it means that you can do you can do large expanses of colour, laying down paint maybe on an aircraft camouflage scheme, and then you can reduce your pressure so that using the same paint you can then do some detail work in another area using the same colour. So it's really handy for that. Typically you're going to have to go back to your compressor to change your air pressure. So this is a really handy way of doing a quick pressure change. Not tried it yet, I've only tried the couplings. So I'm going to be using this over the next couple of weeks, and then I will come back and finish this video and give you my thoughts and feedback on this coupling. So let's have a look at how this all goes together. Now, it's important to say that there are different couplings for the two different airbrushes that I have. So the Evolution and the Infinity CR Plus have a different connector. I'm not sure what the difference is, but for your CR Plus, it's literally a couple of pounds more expensive. So I've already fitted that one. I've not fitted the one to the Evolution. You can see this is how it comes, a little plastic bag like that. But it looks pretty much identical, other than the top here where we've got this little red mark. That is slightly different. And what we're basically going to do is remove this part here, which is sitting up there like that, taking it out and replacing it with this. So we've got exactly the same part, only with this ring that's going to regulate the pressure. So a little bit more complicated in its in what's involved in it, I guess. What we're basically going to do is swap out this part for this part, and that can then get put away with in your airbrush box if ever you want to swap it back. So we simply unscrew this. It can be a little bit stiff at first. You might need to get a little bit of purchase on the bottom end here, because especially if you've had the airbrush for a little while, because you've got a little O-ring there that gets compressed in there. So you can see we just unscrew that straight out, and then we can put our replacement in. So the replacement screws directly into it, and the ring will overlap this bit a little bit as it gets screwed in. So screw it in for holding the thread, because this ring does move, obviously, but it only needs to be finger tight. So when you can no longer twist it with your finger, that's in enough. You don't need to. There is a little flat on each side, so you can tighten it up if you wish. But as long as this doesn't move back when you move your ring, then like that, there you go, then we know that that is tight enough. So generally with all fittings on an airbrush, that's my rule of thumb. If it's finger tight, it's tight enough. So that is our regulator on. We can now add our quick connect underneath. There we have it. That is now ready to use. And as I tighten that on, that is just tightening that onto the airbrush a little bit further as well. Okay, and there we go. That is my adjustable ring ready for action. Both of my airbrushes upgraded. So I'm going to put these away and keep them dust free, and then I'll come back to you when we've had a bit of play using them in anger. So let's test the airflow regulator on here. Now I have used it, so just to make sure I had my head around it before we got going, but it is currently fully open. I'm just going to remove some tip dry, because actually I'm using acrylics, so obviously you get a few more problems when you're airbrushing with acrylics than you do if you're airbrushing with enamels. So let's just make sure that's working in the first instance. So this is wide open. So that's working, and that was just pulling back a little bit. If I show you, air on, pull back, and even on darn that compressor. This is a 0.2 needle, so even on full open I can do a fairly small shift. Now let's just do it a quarter turn. There we go. Right, let's go with fully open and then go across, drawing a line and reducing the regulator, keeping the distance the same, and see what happens. No, that's fully closed now because I can feel air on my hand, but there is no paint coming out. So open it a little bit. There we go. So I had it so closed that there wasn't enough air to actually propel the paint at the thickness I have it, at least. So let's try. There we go. So there is definitely some regulation in there. It's allowing me to do some very fine work. If I pull back. So that is with the regulator fairly well closed. So even full back, I can't get anything that's too thick. We open it up all the way. We can see the difference. So for me, it's a handy tool. It's not precision, it's not perfect, but it's definitely helping me with regulating my air a little bit, and I don't have to do that journey all the way to my compressor, which for me is under my desk, so I have to actually get on my hands and knees or move things out of the way to get to it. So that is really, really handy. And as you can see, you can do some really nice detail work, so aircraft camouflage and so on, no problem at all. Thanks for looking in. You enjoy your modelling, and I will see you very soon. Bye for now.